All right, another chance to ask us questions. I'm going to start with a question that I saw.
You're asking questions?
I'm going to answer my own question. And that is, how do I know what size machine to pick? Well, it really comes down to money, as a lot of things in life do, and labor. So if you don't have the, I could say right off the bat, buy a 24-quart machine. But if you don't have the money for that, you can buy one for half the price and even less with the CB350. So if it's the difference between getting into business this spring or waiting until next a year from now while you save up more money, go with the smaller machine. You're going to work at longer hours. And labor counts. You have to pay yourself, but you don't have to pay yourself in the first year. You'll pick it up later. I mean, all the profits go to you. So pick the machine that you can afford and will fit into your operation. As I was saying earlier, I'm very big on spending as little of your money as possible. So you don't hear me up here talking about, you got to buy this, and you got to buy that hardening, and you got to buy my dipping cabinet. We don't have a dipping cabinet. You start off with what you can afford, work long, hard hours, and build up the business. Sweat equity, as they used to call it. It works very well in any business whatsoever.
Understanding, of course, that ultimately you will have the 24-quart machine.
Yes.
It's a no-brainer. And when you decide that you've got enough money in the bank to pay for it without no loans or anything, and you decide to buy it, don't think in the back of your mind, well, I'll hold on to the 6-quart machine in case it breaks or whatever. You don't need it. Sell it. And you'll get pretty much what you paid for it. Because I'm sure you've all been on eBay and you know the prices of these machines. They don't vary too much. So when it's time to buy the 24, put your machine on eBay. It'll last about 15 minutes. And then take that money and buy your 24.
Yes.
See, from a support standpoint, let's say you go out, I go out and buy a used the middle one, 350. You still have the support. I understand the warranty may not be there, but the support from Emery.
Yes, the warranty won't be there, but yes, we'll treat you just like any other customer because I play long ball. I know that if you start with a CB350, you're going to come back and buy a 24, and then later on, you're going to be so big you'll be running 3 24s and buying a 44 for the bulk flavor. So it's always made sense to me. And my competition, they're going to write up a purchase order that's going to be $100,000 of putting in everything that they think they can sell you. We're not going to do that. If you start with a CB350 and you buy it used, you'll get still 7-day-a-week access to me and emails and phone, and I'll answer your questions no matter what because it makes good business sense. However, if we're talking about business sense, you have to look at your business. When I was growing up in New York and working out of the Bronx, I was traveling all over New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, and I was a salesman. I'm still a salesman. My tax return says salesman, even though I'm the president. But my job was go out and talk to people. We didn't have the internet. You couldn't sell anything over a telephone. And so we would actually go out and I'd make 7 or 8 sales calls a day all around the tri-state area. So in order to do that, one of my friends, Harvey Richards, everybody knew Harvey because Harvey drove a Rolls Royce. And it became his trademark that he drove a Rolls Royce. I'm driving a Volkswagen Super Beetle with the passenger seat taken out so that I can put a countertop slush machine in there with a 100-foot long cord and demonstrate it to pizza parlors. The point was, I didn't need a very expensive car to go call on you and sell a machine. My job was to sell you machines. I just needed good, reliable transportation. Now, you open up an ice cream parlor or an Italian ice business, your job is to sell the product that you have. If you buy someone else's machine, and it may have started great at Emery Thompson, but we don't know how it was treated after that. We don't know if they knocked it off the table and it fell onto the ground and it's got a small continuing leak that they keep putting Freon into it. We don't know what's wrong with it because they're in 142 countries. They're all over the place. But when I'm talking to young people, it kind of amazes me sometimes that they have the hats all picked out. They have the signs all set up. They have the flavors ready to go. And then one day they say, oh, we have to sell a product. Let's go down to Home Depot and buy an Emery Thompson batch freezer. You know, it doesn't work that way. We're going to need 5 weeks faster on the CB350s. So the most important thing to me in my life as a salesman was my car to get from point A to point B. The most important thing in your life is the ability to make a product. And I guarantee you, used machines that have a problem don't break down on January 20th. They break down on July 3rd when they're under the most stress. And then you call up and say, oh my gosh, I don't have any product. There's no competitors who are going to sell to me. They're all busy selling their product. Send over a machine. Yeah, well, good. We can get you one the week after Labor Day because we had to put you in our production cycle. So whether it's an Emery Thompson batch freezer or if it's a dipping cabinet, I can buy a used dipping cabinet because I have 2. So if one goes down, I've got another. I even have a little device where I can turn a chest freezer into a dipping cabinet. So look at what you buy as in order of importance. And if it's critical to the existence of your business and without it, your business will go out of business, that's when you decide, am I going to buy this used bargain that I don't know anything about? People will drive 1,200 miles to buy a used Emery Thompson. Most of the time they'll just have it shipped, but they haven't even looked at it. My nephew once bought a Mercedes from Chicago that was out on Long Island. What could go wrong? It's a Mercedes. He's 22 years old. How could I go wrong with a Mercedes? Well, it was a reason it was for sale. I mean, the transmission was dropping out. So just keep that in mind. But to answer your question specifically, we will support you 100% as if you're a brand new customer. That's the way I do business.
And how do you guys finance the machines? Or do you?
We do. We have a private financing company that we use, and we also use U.S. Bank. I like both of them. It depends on what your situation is, but that's how they're financed. It's called a lease, but you own it from day one. You're going to be responsible for all the payments. But it's a lease instead of an outright loan. It's got better terms when it comes to your taxes.
So if you buy a new machine and something, God forbid, ever goes wrong with it, we live in a very remote area, so it's hard to get anything out there. So how does that work?
Remote to me is Bangladesh.
Okay.
We're all over the world. The first thing you do, if something goes wrong, we've been building the same. It's 6 models. And we've been building machines for 122 years. We don't do deep fat fryers. We don't do pizza ovens. We do batch freezers. We know our own machines better than anybody in the world. And when you've got over 40,000 businesses, you've heard everything that there is. So that's why I take calls on weekends, because if I can, what is a crisis to you, I'm on my 2nd batch, and my machine just stopped and it won't restart. Anybody else is going to tell you to call back Monday and we'll send out a repair map. I'm going to ask you a simple question. What were you making? What'd you make first? Well, we made lemon ice. Okay, and that worked great? Good. And what did you make second? We made cherry ice. Okay, cherry ice is still in the machine? Yeah, taste it. Tell me what it tastes like. You taste it and you go, oh, Steve, it's awful. It tastes like cherry juice and water. I know. You left the sugar out of it. That's what was wrong. It froze up solid. Solution, put in some warm water, rinse it out, start over. Or you're on your 3rd batch, and I will always ask you, when did it last run correctly? And you'll say, oh, it ran yesterday perfectly. but it's not running today. And you got to the third batch. Is the front door, that beautiful metal door, is that all frosted up? Oh yeah, I've never seen so much frost on it. You have one of the two scraper plastic blades in backwards, so it's not scraping properly. Flip it. That didn't cost you anything but a phone call or an email. This is the stuff that we
Those are
do.
the issues you hear.
7 days a week. Yeah. And, we can also handle, it's broke. Well, what's broke about it? Well, it doesn't work. Okay, is it plugged in?
There's a lady in St. Simons Island, Georgia, you should send a check to, because she's said y'all the best company she's ever used.
Well, thank you. That's
Her
what
machine is like she said it's bulletproof, is what she says.
it really is.
That's why we're here.
Oh, good.
Just a lady told me.
Yes.
What is your life expectancy and what is your warranty?
The life expectancy of the machine, and you won't believe it until you've run it that long, and hopefully you won't, 40 years.
Wow.
That's the average lifespan of an Emery Thompson. I get lots of calls from machines from the early 80s ordering parts. They say, do you have these parts? I go, yes, we do.
Probably why she said that.
That's
Yeah.
why she said it.
And the warranty is 1 year parts and 90 days labor, but it's lifetime free technical support. So you can get hold of us 7 days a week. I work 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. Because I'm crazy. I love it. As one of my friends said 10 years ago, they said, when are you going to retire? I said, what, move to Florida? I'm already here.
I'm already here.
Well, I've got a boat, so I take phone calls on the boat.
Yeah.
So if you have a need to produce 25 gallons a day, would this 350 work?
Sure, it's
What's the
making
question?
nine gallons an hour,
What's the question?
25 gallons of ice cream a day.
That's nothing.
That is nothing. It's
That's
going to make
nothing.
9 gallons an hour, so 27,
Which machine?
the countertop one. So that's all the machine you need. And if you want to double the production and you don't want to do the work, hire someone else to come in and make it. You put your formula on a 3x5 file card. We have an officer in here, so I'll be careful what I say about police officers, but you hire a cop, you give them their 3x5 file card, it's their mission, they're going to follow that recipe explicitly, and what everybody worries about, they're going to steal my formulas. Well, number one, you called up here saying, I don't know anything about making ice cream except that I like to eat it, and then now you're Chef Beard, and you don't want to share your formula. They're going to put in their 23 years and retire to Hilton Head. They're not going to steal your formulas. Hilton Head's got to be the safest place on earth. It's all police. But they're not going to steal your formulas. Teach someone how to do it because now you can sleep through the night. You're going to be pretty old or pretty wealthy before you can afford to have security that you're going to have on your store, overnight. I mean, what could be better than have a fireman in your store all night? If it catches fire, he knows who to call. You can go to the bathroom.
That being said, you're going to make your own ice cream.
Yep.
You're not going to hire a kid to make ice cream
No.
or a fireman or whatever.
No.
You're going to
Okay.
make your own ice cream. You're going to make it till you fall on the face because this is what your whole life is now. Your whole life is making that ice cream and smiling at people in your store. And I wouldn't turn it over because there are nuances in making your ice cream. Yes, it's a 3x5 file card. And yes, I give you 100 recipes in my kit, all on 3x5 file cards. But you're the one who's going to interpret that. Don't forget, there's a whole world out there. Certain people like ice creams sweeter, less sweet. Certain cultures like them more flavorful. Certain cultures like them elitist, less flavor, more subdued. You're going to determine that, and you're going to translate that into those recipe cards, and you will make the ice cream. Did you notice I always taste it before I turn it on? That's because at that point I can still adjust it. Now you hire a kid to make ice cream for you, they're not doing that. They're going by the card, they're putting it in, turning it on. They don't even taste it at the end. It is what it is. You come in the next day and say, not quite as sweet as I like it. Now you got to throw out 6 quarts of ice cream or 12 quarts of ice cream. So I disagree with that in some. You're going to make the ice cream. You're going to determine what it should taste like. You'll adapt the recipe to that. You'll make it yours.
We're both right. Who else? Yes.
Jeff, you've been in the business a long time. Looking back, is there anything different you would have done when you started out?
Yes, there are 2 things that have plagued me in every single store that's had my arm in opening. Plumbing and electricity. Those 2 things are killers. I can do, I buy an emery, they deliver it, it's done, no problem. I get my 3-bay sink, no problem. I have my freezers, everything's easy. But the plumbing and the electric, that's the killer. In the Daytona store, we had to run a line from what we set up as the kitchen, a PVC line, 75 feet out to where it goes out, because there was nothing there. Well, the plumbers who did that screwed it up. It took months. The electrician, you sold me a single-phase machine.
Okay.
Because I had, 3-phase.
3-phase.
Because I had 3-phase in this building, which is desirable but unusual. And I had to have the electrician run 3-phase from the box all the way to the back of the store. And I would say that plumbing and electric, aside from the cost, which was stupid, they delayed the opening of my store for easy 4 months, electric and plumbing. So if I had to do, and I'm going to open another store, the next store, I'll talk to the best electrician and the best plumber. And before we shake hands, I'll make sure that he knows my deadlines and he's capable of doing the jobs. So, Albert, I would say those are the things. Nothing else. Right. Everything else was fine in all the stores, but just that, electrician and plumbing.
So have them check everything out before.
Yes. Come, take a look at everything, give me an estimate, give me a time estimate. It's not the money. The money is the money, but it's the time. Because every day that you don't open, every day is costing you a lot of money, a lot of money. Yes?
Storefront versus mobile.
Well, that's a whole different philosophy.
Yeah.
It's really what you want. I want a store. You know why? I was talking to Albert took my course, and
Great course.
what?
This is a great course.
Oh, thanks. I want a store that ice cream, we sell ice cream, but it's a hangout. That's what I want. Because I'm going to be there all the time, and I like to see the people. I do a little magic, so I like to walk around doing a little magic. And what I like most of all is when I walk around, that's the owner. That's the owner. I like that. It's immature of me, but I like it. A lot of my students have opened up mobile. As a matter of fact, the people that, we were talking about this, the people that I sold my first store to, they went ahead and opened up several more stores, and they decked out an amazingly beautiful van that they go and do events and they sell ice cream. And it's gorgeous. They had it wrapped in a tie-dye, the whole thing. It's unbelievable. Now, that's what they hired somebody, and he prefers doing that rather than being put in a store. It really, it's your philosophy. What would you enjoy? Would you enjoy being mobile?
I thought being mobile gave me more options, like local events, stuff like that, versus being able to be a vendor at events. However, I ran into a lot of problems with the health department. There's a lot of hoops you have to jump through being mobile.
Oh, they go up and down that mobile van or whatever. Now, what I did, I had a store, my first store, and we advertised that we would do events on the weekends or during the week, but mostly on the weekends. and I bought a 4x8. No, I bought a 4x8 trailer, and I put my freezer, my chest freezer, on wheels. And what we did was, it was all you can eat at the event. And before, they didn't give us any money. Before the event, we asked how many people they're expecting, and they said 50. So it was $6 a person, which we collected beforehand, and then we went there and it was all you can eat. Trust me, we didn't lose a penny on this. It was all you can eat, and we brought 4 flavors, 2 adult flavors, 2 regular flavors, in a chest freezer. I would drive it to the affair, unload, take the thing on the trailer down, wheel the chest freezer in, and 2 girls would be there for the length of the event, and they would scoop, spoon that, no money, because we were already paid. And we got $6 a person, all you can eat. And boy, when I told people, all you can eat, $6 a person, they freaked out. They said, you're kidding, all they can eat? All you can eat, all you can eat.
And you
There's a
never run out of product?
No, because we never went more than 15 miles or whatever, and if the girls saw we were running out, a phone call to the store, we replenished them, which did happen a few times. But what a moneymaker this was. We made a lot of money with this.
There's a fatal flaw with a truck.
Yes.
There's a fatal flaw with a truck that nobody notices. Of the 3 ways of getting into business, I love Jeff's last one. I do that a lot, where I have people have a trailer and they're making ices or ice cream, and they're going out and doing fairs and festivals. You spend December, January looking at all the festivals for 100 miles around, and you start picking which ones you want, so that you know on July 5th or August 9th where you're going to be. You can plan your whole time like that. It costs very little money. Stores are very expensive, very high rent. Hopefully that's coming down. But I do a lot of trucks, mostly out west. There is a fatal flaw in trucks, at least in Florida, and we have a second location over in Jupiter, Florida, Palm Beach. And we had the falafel truck, and we had the ice cream truck and the hot dog truck. And the owners of the restaurants in this pricey neighborhood really got annoyed because these trucks were stealing their business. They're parked out there, or they're driving around, and there's only so many dollars for food, and you're taking away my food dollars. Instead of them coming into my restaurant, they're coming to your truck, which might be better food than what I'm serving. So what the city fathers did is they said, we are banning trucks except for 1 weekend a month, where you can all come to the fairgrounds here, and you can set up. And so we have 50 or 40 or so trucks on a Saturday and Sunday, one weekend a month. It's kind of fun for us, the food buyers, because there's so much to choose from. But from you, what do you do with the other 3 weeks? You have to hope that you can find another town in Florida that's going to let you in. I'll let you talk.
Okay.
But you've got to check that out, or what are the restrictions? If you're going to go into Palm Beach or Jupiter, what are the restrictions? If you're going to go into Boynton Beach, or if you're going to go over to St. Pete, or if you're going to go up to Jacksonville, you better know in advance that you have a place that you can sell the product, because they're going to, and it's not going to get better. The restaurateurs are paying huge amounts of taxes for their fixed building. If you had a fixed ice cream parlor, you would be screaming against trucks. So keep that in mind. Just because you own a truck doesn't mean you can park in front of my house.
The way it works with the mobile food trucks, if you're planning on doing fairs, festivals, events, then they require you to book 6 months in advance.
Yeah,
Now, what
good.
you're going to do is you're going to make this your way of life. You're going to get the map out, the map of the East Coast, say, or your state or whatever, and they make a publication which lists all the events that are going to take place, and you'll map it out. But don't forget, you're paying for it 6 months in advance. If the rains come, or if the snows come, you're out of it. You don't get your money back, you're done. But it's a way of life, and it's a hard way of life because you're on the road. You're not getting up in your bed, having your breakfast, going to your store. I'm a big fan of the store, supplementing with a mobile business, which was incredibly fruitful. But the on the road is a tough one. It's not just, let's go do the race week in Alabama, whatever.
Yeah.
You can't just do that. You have to book
plan it.
way in advance, and you have to pay for it way in advance.
And if you pay, if you sign up and it's $200 to do Model Airplane Festival, and 200 people come to it, you only have this one weekend. It's kind of like what they say about selling hotel tickets, hotel rooms. Once that date passes, you can't get
And
that
it's
money
more,
back.
it's more like 1,200
Right, but if
for a
it's 200,
3-day event.
if it's 200 and there's 300 people there, you're not going to sell very much. If it's 1,200 and there's 10,000 people, you're going to make over $1,000 an hour easily. So you pick the ones that you can afford to do. And yes, you are taking a risk that, I haven't seen many summers where it rains every single weekend. But the first year I started working, it rained from April through June.
And temperature.
It can happen.
Sure.
It can happen, but it's a risk you take. But your overall cost is so low. You're making the product in the garage, you're putting it in the cart, and you're driving there, and you're young, and you don't mind doing the long
And the
hours.
last thing that you have to consider is that every person you deal with, you're not going to see him again. There is no, that's Alice selling
Yeah.
me her great ice cream.
Right.
A store is from here. It's very personal, and you're going to love it. I mean, I opened up 57 square feet in the back room of a gym. Back room of a gym, no windows, a door leading out to a sweaty, smelly music gym. That's how I started. But if your product will be unbelievable, the word will spread like a forest fire. No, not to mention that. But the word will spread like crazy.
Flag the tape.
And that becomes home. Whatever you work, I mean, our Daytona store is open 7 days from 1 o'clock to 10 o'clock. But it's okay because there's the owner.
Yeah. We're going to break for lunch.